All right. Because we are running a few minutes late, my elder daughter Shruta will be presenting Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter.
Wonderful. Sure.
श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ षोडशोऽध्यायः। श्री भगवानुवाच अभयं सत्त्वसंशुद्धिः ज्ञानयोगव्यवस्थितिः दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च स्वाध्यायस्तप आर्जवम् अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोधः त्यागः शान्तिरपैशुनम् तेजक्षमा तया भूतेष्वलोलुप्त्वं मार्दवं ह्रीरचापरं तेजक्षमा शौचम् अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत द्वौ दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थ सम्पदमासुरीं दैवीं सम्पद्विमोक्षाय निबन्धाय सुरीमता मा शुचः सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डव द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन् दैव आसुर एव च दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च जनाना विदुरासुराः न शौचं नापि चाचारो न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते असत्यमप्रतिष्ठन्ते जगदाहुरनीश्वरम् अपरस्परसम्भूतं किमन्यत् कामहैतुकम् एतां दृष्टिमवष्टभ्य नष्टात्मानोऽल्पबुद्धयः प्रभवन्त्युग्रकर्माणः क्षयाय जगतो हिताः काममाश्रित्य दुष्पूरं दम्भामानमदान्विताः मोहात् गृहीत्वा सद्ग्राहान् प्रवर्तन्ते शुचिव्रताः चिन्तामपरिमेयाञ्च प्रयान्तामुपाश्रिताः कामोपभोगपरमाः एतावदिति निश्चिताः आशापाशशतैर्बद्धाः कामक्रोधपरायणाः ईहन्ते कामभोगार्थम् अन्यायेनार्थसञ्चयान् इदमद्य मया लब्धम् इमं प्राप्स्ये मनोरथम् इदमस्ति इदमपि मे भविष्यति पुनर्धनम् असौ मया हतः शत्रुः हनिष्ये चापरानपि ईश्वरोऽहमहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आढ्यो बीजनवानस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिश्च इत्यज्ञानविमोहिताः अनेका चित्तविभ्रान्ता मोहजालसमावृताः प्रसक्ताः कामभोगेषु पतन्ति नरकेषु च आत्मसम्भाविताः स्तब्धाः धनमानमदान्विताः यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम् अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः मामात्मा परदेहेषु पतन्ति प्रद्विषङ्कोऽभ्यसूयकाः तानहं द्विषतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपाम्या च श्रमशुभान् असुरीष्टेव योनिषु आसुरीं योनिमापन्ना मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि माम प्राप्यैव कौन्तेय ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम् त्रिविधं नरकस्येदम् द्वारन्नाशनमात्मनः कामः क्रोधस्तथा लोभः तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत् एतैर्विमुक्तः कौन्तेय तमोद्वारैस्त्रिभिर्नरः आचरत्यात्मनः श्रेयः ततो याति परां गतिम् यः शास्त्राविधिमुत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति न सुखं न पराङ्गतिम् तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणन्ते कार्याकार्यविवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र प्रमाणन्ते ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र विधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे दैवासुरसम्पद्विभागयोगो नाम षोडशोऽध्यायः श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Excellent. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು. Very nice.
One second. अथ कन्दुकस्तुतिः अम्बरगङ्गा चुम्बितपादः पदतलविदलित गुरुगरशकटः कालीयनान्दश्वेनविहन्ता सरसिजनवदनविकसितनयनः कालघनाली कर्पूरगायः शरशतशकलितरिपुशतनिभः सन्ततमस्मान् पातु मुरारिः सततगसमजवखगपितिनिरतः इति श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थ भगवत्पादाचार्य विरचिता कन्दुकस्तुतिः श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.
So how old are they? Both.
The elder one is 7.5, the younger one is 5.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice.
We still have some time. Thank you all. We still have some time. Let me check if
Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
if anybody wants to sing a Devarnama, please go ahead.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮಹಿದೋರೇ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್?
Yes.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಟುಡೇ ಮೀ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಶಾನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಪ್ರಾಣದೇವರು. ಇದು ಜಯೇಶ ವಿಠಲ ದಾಸರು ರಚಿಸಿದ ಕೃತಿ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ವಾಸುದೇವ ದೋಷ ವಾಸುದೇವ ದೋಷ ದೂರ ಈಶ ಸರ್ವೇಶ, ಈ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಜಗಕ್ಕೆ ಎಂದು ಸೂಸಿ ಉಲ್ಲಾಸ. ರಾಶಿ ವೇದ ಸಮ್ಮತಿ ತೋರಿ ಮಾಸಧರೋಷ, ದಾಸ ವರ್ಗ ಕಿತೆ ಕರುಣ ರಾಶಿ ದಿನೇಶ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಭಾರತೀಶ ಶೌರಿದಾಸ ನಿನ್ನ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದ, ವಾರಿಜಾವೆ ಗತಿಯೋ ಎನಗೆ ಭೂರಿ ಪ್ರಮೋದ. ಹಾರೈಸುವೆ ಹರಿಯ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಪ್ರಸಾದ, ಬ್ಯಾರೆ ವಲ್ಲೆ ಬಯಲು ಭೋಗ ಧೀರ ಸುಬೋಧ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಈಶ ಗರುಡ ಶೇಷಾದ್ಯಾರ ಈಶ ಗುರುವೇ, ಆಸೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಕರುಣ ಕವಚ ಬಯಸುವೆ ಪ್ರಭುವೇ. ಶ್ರೀಶನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ಗುಣ ರಾಶಿ ತೋರುವೆ, ಆ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯ ಮೀಸಲು ಮಾಡಿ ದಾಸರಿಗಣಿಸುವೆ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಪುತ್ರ ಲಕ್ಷಣ ಪೂರ್ಣಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಹರಿದೀಕ್ಷಾ, ರಕ್ಷಿಸನ್ನ ರುಕ್ಮಿಣಿನಾಥನ ಇತ್ತು ಅಪರೋಕ್ಷ. ಅಕ್ಷಿಗೆ ಗೋಚರ ನಾಗೋ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಮೋಕ್ಷದ ಸುರವೃಕ್ಷ, ನಿಕ್ಷೇಪನು ನೀ ಸುಜನರಿಗೆಂದು ಪಕ್ಷಿಸದಿಡು ಭಿಕ್ಷಾ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ವೇದೋಕ್ತಾದ ಗುರುವೆ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಬೋಧ ಮುನಿವರ, ಬಾದರಾಯಣ ಜಯೇಶ ವಿಠಲ ಪಾದ ಮಧುಕರ. ಪ್ರಾದುರ್ಭಾವ ಮಾಡೋ ತವ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಪ್ರಚುರ, ಹೇ ದಯಾಬ್ಧಿ ಕರುಣ ನೀಡು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಸಾಗರ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಹನುಮ ಭೀಮ ಮಧ್ವ ಮುನಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಣತ ಪಾಲಕ, ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಜನುಮ ಜನುಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಲಹೋ ಪ್ರಣಯ ಪೂರ್ವಕ. ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾರ್ಪಣಮಸ್ತು.
Yes. Thank you.
I am here, Mahitaj. Yeah.
Thank you, Anugha. Thank you, Ishanvi, for the wonderful rendition. Today's welcome note by Dilip Gopalakrishnan. Dilip, you want to go ahead?
Hare Namaha. श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः अशेष कल्याण गुण नित्यानुभव सत्तनुः अशेष दोषरहितः प्रियतां पुरुषोत्तमः. A hearty welcome to all Jignasus to this Madhva Navami Prayukta Pravachana Malike by Shri Pratosh Acharya. Sorry. We have been going through this and we are reaching the penultimate day of presentations on Madhva Vijaya, the life and history of Madhvacharya, as well as his teachings, which as it goes are interspersed between each other, so there is not a very clear distinction between the two. The Shastra Kavya Madhva Vijaya eventually just describes him as well as his attributes, as well as his teachings, all combined in a wonderful creation of Shri Narayana Panditacharya. As it also turns out, we are fortunate to have an assistant professor lecture us on these days, because then now that we have the opportunity to actually engage him in question and answers, we are getting a lot out from what we intend to hear from him and our questions being resolved as well. So that is, I believe, a great way to clarify our questions and also get conviction about our Shastra. So thank you so much, Acharya, for giving us your time and also explaining these tenets to us in a very simple and understandable way. We'll continue today's presentation. This is the penultimate day of the series. And as it turns out, apparently, we have been starting some of these days with kids reciting Ganduka Stuti. So I'm now obligated to continue that tradition with my daughter trying to present the same. Her name is Samiksha. She is 5 years old. Okay. Good. ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳು. ಅಂಬರಗಂಗಾ. Yeah. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು. Okay. Okay. ಅಂಬರಗಂಗಾ. Okay. ನಾನು ಇದು ಹೇಳು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳು. ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳು. ಅಂಬರಗಂಗಾ ಮುಂದಿತ ಪಾದ. He seems to be a little shy today. We will do it another time, perhaps at the end of the talk. Thank you. Sorry, please continue, Shri Acharya.
Yeah, thank you, David. Acharya, like we've been talking offline, let's start today's session with the key tenets of Madhva Siddhanta. And this is the start of the Tattvavada discussion that we have been mentioning in our series. So let's start with that and try to address the few common questions that I have seen from the audience so far. So maybe take it that way.
How do we do that? We'll go through the questions, or do you want me to?
I think, yeah. I mean, what are the key tenets of Madhva Siddhanta is where you'll start with Tattvavada discussion, I would say. But it's up to you. You want to answer the questions, or you want to?
No. It's up to you. I mean, I am your guest. You tell me how to do it.
Okay, let's do this. How do we understand the key tenets of Madhva Siddhanta, and how did it go about addressing the Mayavada and the Aham Brahmasmi concepts which were relevant before Shrimadaacharyara took avatar?
Be a little careful when you actually put all this on YouTube, because you are recording this. I have to be a little careful.
Sure. I think we'll talk more on the Madhva Siddhanta philosophy. I think we'll talk more about Tattvavada rather than being critical about it. Yeah.
No, that is needed. It's needed. I mean, the only thing is, yeah. Anyway, let's start with the Mangalacharana. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Asprishta Doshagandhaya Kalyana Gunasindhave Namo Namo Bhakti Muktidayane Sheshayane Shrimadananda Tirthade Padapankajate Namaha Pavitrayantu Mam Nityam Papapatana Panditaha Apadamoli Paryantam Guruna Makritim Sparet Tena Vighna Prashanti Siddhanti Manoratha. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So you don't want me to go through the questions one by one, huh?
let's yeah. I think we can start here and then we can come back to the questions. Yeah.
Maither, just one small thing is you can keep it Q&A also private in case Acharya. That's totally fine. We cannot upload it also. Totally fine.
No, anything is fine. It depends on just that if this is all going on air, I'll have to moderate myself. That's it. Some things should not go out. That's it. Anyway, okay. The key tenets of Tattvavada. There are a lot of them. It's very hard to pack them all in about 40-45 minutes. Okay, let me try. Mahidari, do you want me to go take that question that you asked, or just give a lecture on Tattvavada, especially the
Let's
Mahabrahmasmi part? Huh?
no. I think let's do a talk on the Madhva Siddhanta and Tattvavada.
Okay.
Because a lot of questions have been raised on that line, and I suppose your talk will address those.
Okay. So I'll have to quickly adapt. Just give me 30 seconds. So let me just think. What lines should I give this lecture on? See, because you're actually asking me to condense whatever I studied for 25 years in 25 minutes. So I'll have to do that. Let me think which part of it will be most relevant. See, I think audience here, all of you know about fundamental ideas of Tattvavada, right? So I will maybe talk about things that are not so commonly discussed and which are very important and key ideas that lay the foundation of the philosophical construction of Tattvavada, but it is not very well known. So you all know about these things, right? Shriman Madhvamate, Harif Parataraha, Satyam Jagata, Bhedo Jivagana. All these things all of you know. I think you are a learned audience. Now I'll talk about things that you may not hear many times in Tattvavada, but which are extremely important. Okay. So one such thing that often keeps coming in a lot of discussions that I do with people, a lot of people come to me with questions, and this is not something that is well appreciated, is that for one, see, the most important foundational idea in Tattvavada is this fact that jivas, okay, which are conscious individual entities, are not created and are eternal. Okay, this is something that answers so many questions. This is almost axiomatic in Tattvavada. In fact, I keep saying this in Bhagavad Gita, right? There were hundreds of Upadeshas that was done by Krishna to Arjuna, but this is one thing that he starts his Upadesha with. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipaha nateva nabhavishyamas sarve vayamatah param. So he is talking about, in that shloka, he is talking about the eternity of jivas as conscious, conscious individual entities, okay, which are multiple in number. So this idea, okay, that jivas are not created. See, when we say that Ishvara created everything, we tend to understand that no, jivas are also created. So this is a striking, very important difference between most of the theistic religions or theistic ideas that this universe has seen and the Madhva Siddhanta, that jivas as individual ontological entities are never created. Okay, so none of us were srishta by Bhagavan, so we just exist. So now to understand this, one needs to understand the concept of infinity, because human mind often cannot comprehend the idea of eternal existence. Okay, so I suppose most of you here in the audience are technically educated. That's why you are sitting in the US, I suppose, right? So all of you understand. See, think of this, gets a little technical, but still I'll do this nevertheless. So all of you know what a set of integers are, right? See, natural numbers are the numbers that we use for counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on, right? We also have the negative counterparts for it, which is -1, -2, -3, etc. Okay, so what is the meaning of negative numbers? We all know that, in physics, this talk about the direction. One direction is positive, the other orthogonal direction is taken to be negative, and so on. So it depends on, if you're looking at electrical engineering, then it is the current flowing in a different direction. If you're looking at physics, it's the acceleration in different direction, and so on. Anyway, so all of us understand the idea of integers. So take a set of integers which has infinite numbers. The cardinality, as it is called, is infinite. Now, suppose we were to measure and count individual temporal units, which is you take the time ticks at every 1 hour or something, and you put it on the integer line. So you get infinite times. So if you take any time instant t right now, you get infinite time instances to the right of that particular point and to the left of that particular point as well. Now, does this end? It does not end at both directions. So time does not end at both directions. So in fact, it's a paradoxical logical fallacy if you say that time did not exist at a particular point in time. If somebody says that time began at some point in time, I can always ask this question: what was before that? The very word before points out to time. So we are actually saying that at some point in time, time did not exist, which is a logical paradox and fallacy. So Acharya says that the idea of time or kala is ananta and eternal. Okay, so time exists. In fact, this is very important because this is in contrary to the current understanding of physicists. Because beyond, I mean, this word is actually not defined. And if you look at the teachings of people like Stephen Hawking, they say that the question of what existed before time or before the singularity point, which is famously called as Big Bang, doesn't make sense, because the idea of time space emerged from the point of singularity. No, this is the distinction between that and our understanding of universe is that time as a fundamental ontological entity just exists, and just exists for eternity. The very word eternity talks about time anyway. Okay, now, okay, in simple language, all I'm saying is time was not created, time just exists. And once you understand that time exists, you should also extend the idea of existence, eternal existence, to individuals like us, jivas. So jivas exist for eternity. Okay, so this is one very, very foundational thing that forms the bedrock of understanding of Tattvavada, that jivas as individual ontological entities as are tattvas are not created. In fact, there is this trinity that was not created. One is the Ishvara Tattva, the other is the Jiva Tattva, the third is the Prakriti Tattva. None of them were created. Now, why is this important? See, you always get this question, right? That if we were created, why were we created unequal? Okay, why, if God is omnipotent and sarvashakta, why is that there is so much of evil and suffering in universe? And the usual atheistic argument of problem of evil, problem of death, and so on. So this is, I mean, the way to answer this is by saying that jivas were never created in the first place. So if you look at the Upanishads and Bhagavata, right, the word that is ascribed to Bhagavan is Udasina. So Udasinava Dasinam. Okay. So Ishvara does not interfere into the Swabhava phase of Jiva. So what does this mean? That Ishvara does not create Jiva. Now, if you look at some parallel religions like Semitic religions in the which have come in the universe, their problem begins because they say that jivas were created and made by Ishvara. Now, if you say that, I mean, lot of issues come up, right? Why did Ishvara create so many jivas in a totally nonsensical and unequal way? And why is this suffering? And why does a child is born with diseases and so on? And more so, think about it. Suppose you are an Ishvara, you would create somebody outside of your belief system and make them suffer because you created them that way. I mean, that could be as sadistic as it can get. And that's why a lot of medieval thinkers rejected Semitic religions, because it starts by saying that jivas were created. Okay, so the moment we understand that jivas were never created as individual entities, a lot of these problems can be answered. So jivas exist. Okay, this is one foundational idea that we need to comprehend. The second thing is the Swabhavavada. Okay, Acharya Swabhavavada is so powerful that again, it answers so many philosophical questions. So what is this Swabhavavada? Okay, this Swabhavavada says that every jiva as an individual, I mean, not only jiva, right? Even Ishvara, every Chetana as an individual has a fixed set of capabilities and Sarupa and Swabhava, which is upper bounded by some particular number. It can be quantified, it is upper bounded by particular number. And this again does not change. So what does this mean? See, jiva as an entity, as we understand ourselves. Okay, by the way, what is jiva? Acharya says, Ahamityeva yo vedyaha sajiva iti kirtitaha. So these things are so relevant, especially in this era of AI and all that, right? I mean, what is Chetana, what is Achetana, and all that. Anyway, so what is jiva? Acharya says, see, when we say aham, or when we say I, nanu, or anything, we refer to a particular object, because every words have to refer to a particular object. And when we say I, we are referring to a particular object. And it is this object which is called jiva. So if I have to say it in our colloquial tongue, right, or Kannada, see, whatever we refer to as nanu, that is jiva. So nane jiva. So basically, what we say as nanu is jiva. Okay, and this jiva, by construction, is abstract, or let me not say it's abstract. It is non-material. It has no contact with Prakriti, in the sense that it is not made of Prakriti, because it was in the very first place not created at all. Which means I was never created. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadhipaha. Now ದೇವರಿಂದ ಸೃಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲ. ದೇವರು ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಶಬ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇವಾಗ. See, we get that question, right? What does it mean to say that God created everything? I'll come to that in a while. But the idea is that nanu, or I as an entity, was never created, and it is this I which is jiva. Okay, now this I is non-material. It is this I is not made by sattva rajas tamo guna. We are not prakriti. We are not jada. So because prakriti is achetana, we are jnana anandamaya. So just like, what does that mean? So what does that mean to say that we are a jnana anandamaya? We all understand the idea of happiness. We all know what happiness is, right? We all understand the idea of knowledge. We all know what is it to mean to be cognizant of something. Okay, now jiva as an entity, himself or herself or itself, is jnana. Knowledge, jiva is knowledge, and jiva is happiness. Okay, and when I say nanu, I am happiness. It's not that I possess happiness. It's very very different. Think about it. It takes some time to understand this. It is one to say that I possess happiness. So think of, if you have a vessel, you have some water inside it. It is the vessel contains water. That's the Nayayika description of jiva. That jiva is a vessel, and it has jnana and sukha. But our Tattvavada's understanding of jiva is that jiva himself is happiness, herself is happiness. The swabhava of jiva is to be happy, or rather, happiness is jiva. Okay, and here the construction of chetana, construction of Ishvara and construction of jiva is not different this way. Ishvara is also jnana, jiva is also jnana. So if you want an analogy, think of jiva being like a sugar, okay, which is sweetness. So now the analogy has a bit of it's a little off, in the sense that sugar is still material, but think of a non-material happiness entity as an entity, and that is what jiva is all about, and that is not created. Okay, so now Now, what is the whole point of all this? What is happening with all this? Okay, we are happiness, fine. And one question is, why are if we are happiness and we are the knower and we are the knowing and knowledge as well, why is that we don't have access to our own happiness? Or yeah, I mean, again, language fails here. Acharya has introduced an extraordinary idea called Vishesha. Okay, भेद सत्तेपि भेद प्रतिनिधिः भेद कार्यकारी वस्तु सामर्थ्य विशेषः, right? So saha asti vastushu asheshatah, Acharya says. Anyway, see, the reason I mentioned to that is we say that our happiness, no, I'm sort of contradicting when I say that we are happiness, and I also use this word as our happiness. You can extend the same idea to Ishvara as well. So we say that Ishvara's happiness, Ishvara's jnana, Ishvara's guna. See, only if two entities are different that you use this linguistic construct, that you say that it is my hand. I am different, my hand is different. Similarly, you say that it is Ishvara's knowledge, my knowledge. While Ishvara and knowledge are the same, I and knowledge are the same. So how do you explain this? This is explained by an idea called Vishesha. That's actually beyond the scope of this particular session. Anyway, the point is, what's important is now that we are ourselves knowledge, we are ourselves happiness. Why are we not experiencing that happiness? Is the question. To answer that, what Acharya says is as follows. And by the way, I saw the list of questions. One of the questions was that are there what was the situation before Acharya took avatara? What were people doing? See, Acharya never says that he is proposing a new Siddhanta. Okay, it is Vaidika Siddhanta that he has just explained. That's it. Now, the Vedas and Upanishads and the other Mula texts existed. Okay, so people who were capable, the Sattvika Jivas, were actually capable enough to draw every philosophical idea from the Mula text. That was always happening. So, the only thing is, it was corrupted at one point in time, which had to be cleansed. That's it. Okay. So anyway, so point is, now that Jiva himself or herself is happiness, why is that we are not experiencing our own happiness? Acharya says that Jivas have been under the influence of Prakriti from eternity again. Okay, so Jivas are themselves happiness, and this happiness is not revealed. See, our own happiness is not being revealed to ourselves because we are under the influence of Prakriti for eternity. Okay, we have been under the, so this is what is called as samsara. The word samsara refers to the Prakriti sambandha that Jiva has for eternity. Okay, so this bandha is anadi. So one question that immediately comes up in people's mind when I say this is, why did Jiva get this anadi bandha? Why did Jiva get this prakriti, the relationship, association with prakriti, right? So now this why question only makes sense for things that come into existence, which did not exist at some point in time, which came into existence after some point in time. But if something exists from eternity, which did not have a beginning, why question does not even make sense because it was never created in the first place. So jivas have been with Prakriti Bandha. So if I say from Anadi time, it's again, so language fails there. I cannot say from Anadi time because when I say from a particular point in time, we think of Sadi. Jivas just are with Prakriti Sambandha. That's it. Now this association of Prakriti is what is stopping us from being us. Okay. Now this entire point of samsara and srishti and all this drama is to ensure adukka mitarat sarvam jiva evatu dukkhinah tesham dukkha prahanaya sucharesha pravartate, says Acharya. So the entire point of this entire srishti is to ensure that this prakriti bandha or the association of prakriti that we have to be gotten rid of so that we end up being ourselves.
I think at this stage there is one
second,
question.
I need to take this call. Just a second. Just a second. Sorry, actually, the 9:30, I have a lecture to be given in some conference. I'll have to leave at 9 today. They just called me if they have to arrange for the travel right now. Anyway, so I can understand that there will be a lot of questions and discussions here. But should we stop right now and take questions, or should I just give me like 5 minutes? I will just complete the narrative, and then we can take questions on this.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, follow-ups, and there is a similar question on the chat. So let's finish your talk, and then we'll do the questions quickly.
Okay. Yeah, this flow just got broke. My chain of thought just got distorted. Hold on. What was I saying? So I think, yeah. So the entire point of this Srishti is to ensure that we end up being ourselves. That is why Bhagavata defines moksha as the following: Muktir hitva nyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Okay. Moksha is the very word says moksha. It is not acquisition, no, it is actually giving up. So now look at the striking difference in all other religious arena, right? The idea of moksha is that you get everything, you get that, you get this and all that. In our understanding, moksha is that you leave everything that you are not. See, look at it, right? Ultimately, all we want is to be happy for eternity, right? That is what our desire is. We all crave for being. So this is mumuksha. This is called mumuksha, right? Sukhameva mesya dukham managapi ma bhuti nikhila apekshita mokshasya. The idea is to be happy for eternity, and we do everything what we do towards that particular goal. Now, if we ourselves are happiness, then there is no point in looking for that happiness outside. Finally, the only thing is we are constrained by Prakriti, which is stopping us from being ourselves. The moment the constriction is removed, we continue to be ourselves, which is happiness. Now, that is why the word is moksha. It is not acquisition, right? It is not gaining anything. It is not labha. It is moksha. Okay. Now, so this game is set up to ensure that we get rid of Prakriti. Now, how do we get rid of Prakriti is the question. Now, if we were capable of getting rid of Prakriti, we would have done it. Unfortunately, we do not have capability of getting rid of Prakriti at all. And this is where Ishvara comes in to the picture. Okay. Ishvara comes into the picture, and it is said that it is only through his prasada or his reflections that Jiva can get rid of the Prakriti and start becoming, or rather remain to be himself or herself. Okay. Now this is where all the ideas of bhakti and all that comes into picture. See, one question that often comes up is that, if Ishvara is compassionate, okay, if God is compassionate, why doesn't he remove all this suffering and all that? Acharya very clearly says that, look, this Prakriti, samsara and karma, right? All these are synonyms. There's Prakriti, because of Prakriti, there is this karma, there is this karma and punya papa and all this, right? There's infinite baggage of karma that every jiva holds. And this karma, by the way, is not jiva sarupa. It has nothing to do with jiva himself. He's just that he's owning that karma. Every individual jiva owns a lot of karma. Now, Upanishad says, and Acharya also says, nas chakrata kritena. Now, suppose you do one karma, okay, it begets one other karma, not one, many other karmas. Now, this keeps on piling up. And this is what is the one that binds us to Prakriti. The more the karma that we do, the more it binds us to Prakriti. Okay. And karma is also anadi. So, jiva is anadi. Bandha, samsara, karma, all this are synonyms, right? Bandha and Prakriti and jiva are anadi. And jiva has been associated with karma. Now, the suffering that we have today is not innate, in the sense that we assume that all of us are happiness in Swarupa. That's our axiomatic assumption. Now, despite that we suffer. Why is that? It is because of the karma that we carry. And karma is not Jiva Swarupa. Okay. Now, if suffering has to end, the infinite baggage of karma has to end. Now, that won't end, because by definition it is infinite. So you cannot count, you cannot exhaust counting set of integers, because That's the very definition of infinity. So you cannot exhaust all karmas. Unless you get rid of karma, you cannot exist independently as yourself, because it is this karma or samsara that is in the very first place stopping you from being yourself. Okay. Now, if somebody is really compassionate and if he wants to help you, the only way that this person who is ultimately compassionate can help you is by getting rid of this infinite baggage of karma. And that's exactly what Bhagavan does. See, you would have heard this thing that one should not do sakama karma, right? Only nishkama karma has to be done. Why is this? Is because every sakama karma that we do binds us more with the prakriti. See, suppose you ask, let's say that, I have to get this particular thing done in my office, or I want to get this particular thing happened in my college, whatever, right? The so-called kama puja, right? If we do this, Ishvara, I mean, it is in the best interest of Jiva to not grant that. Because what you are actually asking is more bondage. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita duskrite. Just like the bad karma binds you, good karma also binds us. Okay. The only ultimatum is to completely get rid of prakriti. That is why even Swarga is considered to be an undesirable thing. Right? Swarga is undesirable because that's also an offshoot of prakriti. That's also an offshoot of karma, and anything that binds us, that does not let us to be ourselves, is something that we don't want to have. And Acharya says Ishvara's ultimate karunya is in the fact that despite having no business in how Jiva operates, okay, he offers an opportunity for all jivas to be themselves by getting rid of this infinite bondage that the jiva has for eternity. So this is where the ultimate karunya lies. Ishvara has no obligation in indulging with jiva, and in fact Ishvara does not indulge in jiva sarupa or jiva karma. He is a facilitator. He is like this fair teacher or facilitator that just makes everything happen without interfering in the swabhava or karma aspects of jiva. But the karunya or the compassion lies in the fact that with sadhana, he gives the jivas opportunities to get rid of this infinite bandha that the jiva has, which can never go off, without the intervention of Ishvara. And that's where the karunya lies in. And this is where bhakti also fits in, because the sadhana, mukti hi naija sukha anubhuti. What is naija sukha? Naija sukha is sarupa sukha, which is ourselves. It is not external sukha anubhava. It is the sukha anubhava of ourselves. Okay, bhakti tat sadhanam. Why? See, it is we who want the intervention of Ishvara in our sarupa, because it's not in sarupa, it's in getting rid of the prakriti sambandha. Now, if we understand this positioning of Jiva, Prakriti and Ishvara, and by the way, I also said that I answered this question of what Srishti means. Srishti is only giving Jiva this Prakrita body, this external body. That's all Srishti is all about. We get a body. So this body is made of Prakriti, and Prakriti is also Anadi. Ishvara takes up Prakriti, uses that as the material cause, converts that into our bodies, and puts us in this body in accordance with our karma. That is Srishti. It's not creating jivas at all. Okay, so this entire facilitation is done because bhutye nijasita janastihi srujya srushto iksha babhuva paranama nimeshakanta. Acharya says in Mahabharata that Ishvara does srishti because he is compassionate enough towards jivas that he thinks these jivas are not able to experience their own self. So let me give them an opportunity to explore, or rather reveal their own selves to themselves. So now the question of why is somebody suffering, why is not somebody suffering, does not arise at all, because karma is anadi and everything happens according to the cycle of karma. And this karma, Ishvara has no influence. I mean, Ishvara does not do any interference on karma or jiva swabhava. Okay, he just facilitates the cycle of karma. That's it. Now, see, there is actually it's a double-edged sword. At one on the one edge there is this Vaishamya, which is being unequal. The other edge is Nairghanya, which is being not compassionate. So we just established that Ishvara is fair. He does not have Vaishamya. See, by the way, again language fails. When we say he, it does not mean that Ishvara is male. Prakritistha pratigna drishtanta anuparodha. Ishvara is female as well. Acharya very clearly says, okay, there is, in all these nonsensical gender ideas and all that have come up because of this Western thinking of a personal God and all that. Ishvara is just yadashesha gunonnadham nirdosham yavadevahi tavadeva ishvaro nama. In fact, recently, right, a month or two before, I gave a lecture on the understanding, when it was titled Understanding God or something, Understanding Brahman as in Indian philosophy. I've dealt with all of this in great detail. It's a 1 hour lecture. Maybe I'll just ping that in the chat. You can, if anyone of you is interested, you can go through it. Hold on. Huh?
So there is one question. I think a bunch of questions, but let's start.
I know there can be a lot of questions here.
So if jiva is happiness, okay, and I have to find happiness, what is the nanu and I is same, and that is equivalent to jiva? How is it I'm differentiating the two right now? How do I go find
what
jiva and happiness?
Differentiating between what two? Nano and happiness, is it?
No, if the jiva that we have, when I say nanu, what exactly it means? It doesn't mean.
One second. Yeah. You said jiva that we have. That language is not correct. We are jiva. We don't have jiva.
Okay.
We are jiva. What we refer to as we is jiva.
If what I refer to is already jiva, then why am I not? What is me experiencing the jiva's happiness?
Okay, we experiencing our happiness, not jiva's happiness. The container is this body. This prakrita body is the container. Okay, what is contained is us. We are jivas. We don't have jivas. We are jivas.
So it's not the body having the jiva. It is the jiva having a form.
No. Body does have jiva. See, body is prakrita. Body is the container, and we are not body.
Correct.
Right. What we refer to as I and we is the jiva. Nane jiva. Nannal jiva irodalla. Nane jiva.
Nane jiva. Jiva is sukhamaya, but I am not sukhamaya.
ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡಿ, ನಾನು ಸುಖಮಯನೇ. ನಾನೇ ಸುಖಮಯ. ಸಿ ಜೀವನೇ ನಾನು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಲಾ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ದಟ್ ನಾನೇ ಸುಖಮಯ.
Nane sukhamaya. Then, but I don't experience that sukha.
Yeah, that is because there is lingadeha. There is this prakriti sambandha. That's the whole point. There is a coverage. See, now, I mean, there is a deeper philosophical question here. Deeper philosophical question is that if I am happiness, if I am experiencing myself, which is our experience, why is that one aspect of myself is not being revealed? Right? That is where you'll have to bring this idea called Vishesha. See, Acharyara Siddhanta idea, people say that, oh, it's not novel and all that. But as I say, it's so philosophically deep that Acharya introduces this idea called Vishesha. Okay, which means abhedepi bheda karyakari samarthya visheshaha visheshaha. So what happens is, while I and happiness are the same, the I-ness get revealed, okay, to me, but the happiness does not get revealed to me because there is something called Vishesha. Okay, so again, I'll extend this idea. The extension of this idea is Ishvara is Ananta Guna. Carefully notice that I did not say Ishvara has Ananta Guna. I said Ishvara is Ananta Guna. Okay, so Yadashesha Gunonnadham Nirdosham Yavadevahi Tavadeva Ishvaro Nama. So when I say Ishvara is Ananta Guna, Ishvara gets revealed to different jivas according to their capability. So Ishvara is Ananta Guna, and all those Ananta Gunas are indifferent from each other. Savishesh, this thing, no, Swagata Bheda Vivarjana. Then why is that some jivas experience only 5 gunas, 6 gunas, 7 gunas? How is this even possible?
That's my next question. How is jiva happening?
Correct. And also, how can you even count as Ananta if there is Swagata Bheda Vivarjana? Right? So this is where the idea of Vishesha comes in. Abhedepi bheda karyakari. So Acharya says that every vastu has this samarthya, which is called Vishesha. which means some of the effects of Bheda is described by the Vastu, while there is no Bheda. One effect of Bheda is counting. The other effect of Bheda is one part of it, partial revealing. Partial revelation is one effect of Bheda. There's only one thing that Vishesha does not do, which Bheda does, is Ekasatvepi Aparanasha, which means that if two things are different, if there is Bheda, then one can exist independent of the other. If there is Vishesha, one cannot exist independent of other, in the sense that I and my happiness, it never happens that I exist but my happiness does not exist. But it can happen that I exist but my happiness is not revealed.
So when you say every vastu has its own
Vishesha.
has its Vishesha, is that vastu coming from Srishti and Prakriti?
Even Jada has Vishesha. Chetana also has Vishesha. Okay, so one thing is, I'll tell you, see, the questions that you are asking, all of them are extremely relevant. Okay, and very, very interesting. See, my whole point of today's lecture is to convince all of you people that you'll have to read Anuvyakhana and Nyayasudha. That's the only way to get answers to these questions, because it's so comprehensive. Okay, it deals with all of these questions one by one in a systematic way. Okay. Now, I mean, of course, I'm happy to answer questions, but I should quote my own Guruji, right? When I was 14, 15, that young teenager's age, I used to ask him a lot of questions like this. He used to say, ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಓದ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ನೀನೊಂದು 15 ವರ್ಷ ಓದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ನಾವು ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಓದಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ there is no alternative to spending time and putting that effort. 95% of our questions are asked and dealt. See, this happened just 2 days back. I teach a few students in my home. Okay, and one of them is this interesting guy, okay, who came to me as an atheist, or rather an agnostic. He said, see, people either they always take sides in one of the extremes. I don't want to do it. I have a lot of questions I want to understand. He's a Madhva, by the way. Okay, I mean, by birth. Now I told him that, see, look, your questions are all valid, but even to have a informed conversation, you'll have to spend 10 years with me. Only then we can even have a debate. I'm not guaranteeing you that I will make you convinced of everything. I will not give you answers. I will only teach how to think. Okay, I will teach a few works, and we'll after a decade we can have better debates. The guy is so serious that he said, I will commit 10 years with you, and it's already 4 years. We are making good progress. There is no in fact, okay, see, what happened is, there is this thing called Pramanyavada, where we talk of Pramanya Swatastva, which comes in Vishnutvanaya, and I'm teaching in Vishnutvanaya right now. And we debated on consciousness and the idea of validity of knowledge and all that for about 15 days. Okay. Now, after all that, I told him that, okay, let's stop here, the offhand debates, and then start looking at the work itself, line by line. To my surprise, see, one of the commentaries of Vishnu Tattvanirnaya Tika is by one yati by name Sri Vyasa Tattvavada. He came in the lineage of Raghavendra Swami Matha, and he actually left Matha and all that. He's a great Jnani. Okay, he has written a work by name Laghu Prabha to Vishnu Tattvanirnaya Tika. Extraordinary Vyakhya. Okay, I just was opening pages, and I saw that he has written a long thesis on this topic in Laghu Prabha, and I thought, let me read this. When we read it together, to our surprise, he has not only asked the questions that this guy was asking, he has asked 10 more questions on the question that he was asking, and he has constructed Purvapaksha stronger than my student. Right? Again, quoting my teacher, my Guruji, ನಮ್ಮ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳೋರು, ನಿನಗ್ ಬಂತು ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯಾಸರಾಜರಿಗೆ ಬರದೇ ಇರತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ. So all these questions have been very nicely dealt with utmost rigor and detail. But yeah, so I urge all of you to actually, it's very nice that you have this curiosity and asking these questions, but spend those put in those hours. It's worth it. If you are serious about philosophy, it's definitely worth putting in those hours. Anyway, so coming back to today's questions, you are asking, In fact, our Swarupa's happiness, right, is actually revealed to us every day during Sushupti. The happiness that we experience during the deep sleep, non-REM sleep as they call it, is actually Swarupa Sukhanubhava. It's because the manas or the samsara or the prakriti that binds us, that stops us from being ourselves, okay, is switched off in that point in time. Now, if everything that you are not is switched off, then what remains is yourself. That's it. Ironically, sleeping is not switching off. Sleeping is switching off everything that you are not. It is the highest state of awakening. Sushupti is the highest state of awakening because, see, that's why we wake up fresh. See, we suffer because we get attached to everything that we are not. The moment you get rid of everything that you are not, the only thing that remains is you, which is happiness. In fact, Patanjali Yoga Sutra also talks about this. There is the Jnana Dharana Samadhi, right? The ultimate anga of the yoga is Samadhi. The eighth anga of yoga is Samadhi. Samadhi is the state. Yoga, Chittavritti Nirodha is the definition that Patanjali gives. The ultimate state of yoga, which is the Samadhi state, is the state where Jiva can voluntarily switch off every other faculty that he or she is not. That's Samadhi. That's why all these jnanis, aparoksha jnanis, can voluntarily get into the state of sushupti, deep sleep. If you can consciously get into the state of sushupti, then it is called Samadhi, asamprajnata Samadhi. But we poor jivas who are very far away from sadhana cannot get into that state voluntarily. We need Ishvara's intervention there also. That is where it is said Sushupti is where jiva goes and get attached to the prajna rupa of Paramatma, and that is where Paramatma ensures that all prakriti is temporarily switched off. Okay, so again, this is one of the foundational construction, pillars of Tattvavada, where Jiva, Ishvara, and Prakriti all are anadi. No one was created. Okay, Natve Vaham Jatunasam Natvam Neme Janadhipaha. Krishna says, neither I was created nor you are created, nor are these kings that you are thinking that you will kill and so on. Nachaiva Nabhavishyamaha Sarve Vayam Atah Param. There is no time that we will stop existing. See, think about it. Today's world operates on this nonsensical principle called YOLO. You all know what YOLO is, right? You only live once. YOLO.
Right. Yeah.
You only live once. That's it. Now, if you subscribe to that ideology, you look into this life in a very, very different way. I mean, it's a classic optimization problem. If I am told that this entire I is going to cease to exist after this event called death, then the only way to live is to ensure that I maximize my material happiness at every point in time. Because anyway, time is limited and our existence itself is limited. Yeah, exactly. Runam krita ghritam pibet, right? Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. But the moment, that's how the current world is operating. Okay, the moment you say that your existence is eternal, then the entire equation changes. This life, as we see, becomes a minuscule, insignificant event in this canvas of eternal time. Right? So that is why the very first Upadesha that is done in Bhagavad Gita is Natve Vaham Jatunasam Natvam Neme Janadhipaha, which talks about the eternity of Jiva, eternity of Ishvara, and eternity of Prakriti. Okay, and Srishti or entire all of this is orchestrated by Ishvara to ensure that we end up being ourselves. Okay, I just a second. I'll have to leave now, unfortunately, for today. I can wait till this cab arrives, actually. Just a second. So we will stop here because this can go on. As I said, this can go for 15 years on and on and on. But yeah, we have to stop somewhere. So I know that there are lots of questions.
We can go back to the questions list once we resume tomorrow, and that way we can keep it.
Give me a minute. I will talk to this person and ask if the cab is arriving. Maybe I can spend 5 more minutes. Did you book the cab?
We are booking. We are booking.
And
the
you have
cab,
the
right?
location,
Sir,
right?
I'll inform you. Sir, project, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, once it is booked, let me
Yes.
know. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying maybe we can list the questions also, or we can go back to the questions. And
So we have tomorrow, and tomorrow is the last day, correct?
tomorrow was the scheduled last day, and if there is continued interest, maybe we can extend it by a day, which is if it is convenient for you.
That's your Sunday, right? That's your Sunday
Correct.
evening. Sunday evening.
Yes. Yeah.
We can do that. We can do that. See, I'm traveling tomorrow night. I'm going to Dharwad, some lecture. But anyway, it's in the evening. So I think Sunday evening, your time, maybe around 8, same time. We can spend an hour.
That is Monday morning for you, which is a holiday.
Which is a holiday. And as I said, I'll be in Dharwad that day. But morning is free. I think I can accommodate. No problem.
Okay.
So Sunday evening, what we can do, no? In fact, there's nothing that is planned for Monday morning when I go to Dharwad. So I think I can give a good 2 hours, no problem. If you are interested, we
Okay.
can.
Then we can review all the questions.
I think that's a good idea. Let me know. You gather interest and let me know. I'll not do any lecturing that day. No, we can only do a conversation or question answering that day, and we can go for as long as we can, right?
We can review all the Siddhanta questions, which I think we haven't responded fully. Some of them would be. I think we can. It's your prerogative not to answer. I think that should be okay.
It's okay. So see,
Um,
the best that I can do is I can say I don't know, right? I mean, that's it. If I
I,
know, I'll just quote what is there.
no, it's more about it's more about what we put out on the outside world, and probably without the context, certain things cannot be construed correctly, and that's pretty much it. And nobody would want to do that anyway. So we will keep it. We will keep it to our part of the discussion, our side of the Purva Paksha, and I think there is a question. And what is Purva Paksha? What exactly? What is the thought process to arrive at Purva Paksha, or the arguments needed to arrive at the other one? Or the
See, Acharya has written an entire work on this called Katha Lakshana.
Yeah, exactly. I think
So,
that darshana, I don't think it is going to be any.
specifically for this Aham Brahmas meeting, right? I think a couple of years back, I did a rigorous analysis and English, Pravachana and English on this very topic. So I've just put the link on the chat. So if anybody is interested, you can have a look at it.
Is that the one with the one-on-one discussion that you had, where you made a comparative analysis with?
No, it's not a one-on-one discussion. It's a lecture. I mean, it's a talk.
It's a talk. Okay.
So okay, so we'll convene again tomorrow then. But prayer Karita Rupa Lakshmi Shah Taya Prinatu Keshavah Shri Krishna Arpanastu.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Pratosh Acharya, for today's session. It was a rock and roll, I would say, and we'll continue this discussion tomorrow, and we'll extend it by a day if there is sufficient interest. Shri Krishna Arpanastu. Thank you all.
Namaskar.
Hare Srinivas.